What is the stupidest way you've injured yourself? When I was a kid, we had blue carpet in the living room. I had just watched some movie or show where the characters jumped into a painting, and I started thinking maybe if I believed really hard, the blue carpet would turn into a vast ocean. So I climbed up on the recliner and swan dove into the floor. When I was maybe 5 or 6, I had recurring dreams that if I ran downhill, against the wind fast enough, and jumped, I could fly. They were extremely realistic. It was also very frequent, to the point where I began to doubt their status as dreams. One day, I noticed the wind was blowing up the hill we live atop. I decided to try it. I sprinted full speed down this hill and leapt hard as I could, and promptly smashed my face against the sidewalk. Hey, it's not like you didn't fly. Edit. Hello, this is doing pretty nice for my 5th comment. Edit 2, so my top rated comment is about someone falling. Nice. It's called falling with style. The trick is in learning how to miss the ground. Clearly it is this part, the missing, that presents the difficulties. I'm a welder, I work with really hot steel parts constantly. But I regularly burn myself on the microwave meals I eat for lunch. Thought I could walk my dog on a leash while riding my bike. Dog saw a squirrel and yanked me off my bike. I broke a few bones in my hand. Doc was like, "What did you expect would happen?" This reminds me of when we first got our dog, and it was my then 7-year-old's turn to take the dog out into the yard on the leash. But my daughter quickly got bored and wanted to climb a tree. She tied the dog's leash to a long jump rope, to another, and climbed. Edit to add, she tied the end of the line of ropes to her waist and climbed. My husband pulled into the driveway in the car. Puppy wildly dashed towards him at full speed. Kid flew out of the top of the tree, landed halfway across the yard, and was dragged the rest of the way. Puppy never broke stride. When I was about 8, I was holding the leash when my parents and I went to walk our dog one day. I decided it would be fun to run with the dog. When I decided I was done running, I didn't know how to give the dog the memo and just stopped. I got literally lifted into the air like a kite momentarily and then dragged a little ways on the street by the dog. My mom still laughs when she tells the story. Like a kite. Exactly. Bending over to pick up a paper bag. A completely empty paper grocery store bag. It was standing upright, not even laying on the floor. I barely had to even bend down to pick it up. Somehow this triggered a cosmic alignment between 2 vertebrae and nerve cluster, because suddenly I fell to the floor in crippling pain, could not get my back straight, and had to crawl to the living room so I could lay on the carpeted floor and try to stretch it out. I ended up ducked up like this for days, and had to have physical therapy to slowly work out the pinched nerve. I was basically walking like Quasimodo for a couple weeks. People would assume I was in an accident or lifting some boulder like Hercules or saving a child pinned under a car. But nope. I was undone by an empty paper bag. Edit, thanks very much for the silver and prayers lol. Ooh, I feel you. I have done this, twice. The first time I lifted my foot to put a sock on and immediately found myself on the floor in the worst pain I've ever felt. I spent a good 3 weeks hobbling around hunched over, barely able to move. Second, I bent over to pick my cat up. Same thing, ended up on the floor, except this time on top of a really pied off cat. Luckily I was good in about a week from that one. Same. From getting a sock under a couch. Drank hot tea lying down. The first thing you learn in British school is to never drink tea lying down. Ops said stories about hurtful accidents, not regretful crimes. I live in Minnesota, so I am used to kicking snow off my boots by slamming my toe part of the boot down on the ground. Well, it was summer and I happened to get my running shoes absolutely covered in mud, so I instinctively slammed my toes down on the pavement and broke my toes. Holy duck, I get that running shoes don't exactly have the same structural support as a winter boot, but damn son. How much force did you pack into that stomp? About 4 toes worth. I dropped something behind my couch, leaned over the back to pick it up and cracked a rib. Was in pain for a week. Getting old as hell. Bartender here. Reached a little extra to wipe the bar for new guests on a busy night. Popped a rib. 6 weeks later, still hurts a bit if I sleep on it. Kicker was I then adjusted my breathing because of the pain, so my diaphragm became irritated. I adjusted again and then my abs started to hurt. Adjusted again, and now it's diaphragm, abs and obliques. That was the longest weekend of my life. I honestly thought I was dying that Saturday. But I didn't have a fever, so I figured it was a bizarre injury. Which it was. Like I said, still hurts if I do it wrong, but the muscle pain is gone. To try to get a cheap laugh out of my ex, I threw a hammer as hard as I could at a tree. The hammer bounced off the tree, and I turned just in time for it to hit me in the small of my back. Miracle I'm not paralyzed. Thank goodness you weren't throwing an axe. I had no idea a hammer-cooled would even bounce off a tree. I thought it would just hit drop to the ground. Didn't think it'd ricochet right back at my back. It didn't. That tree threw it right back. The person you were trying to impress saw the tree throw it but couldn't say anything because who would believe that? Damn trees, I guess the saying is right, don't duck with Mother Nature. She can be a bitch when she wants to be. I don't duck with Mother Nature, mother-in-laws, or motherfucking Ukrainian Skinny Pete, the Italian job. Threw a grape in the air to catch it in my mouth. It fell on the floor and I bent down to pick it up and smashed my face into the windowsill. That actually made me laugh, sorry. Shot myself in the eye with a Nerf gun. I looked into the barrel to see if it was loaded. I was 8. Sounds like a supervillain backstory. And that's how I became Bozo, the one-eyed moron. I found my dad's EpiPen one day while looking for mouth spray for sore throats. It obviously wasn't what I was looking for, but I wanted to figure out how it worked. I ended up shooting the needle clear through my thumb. I then hid the evidence of my stupidity and never told my mom until years later. I'm sure your heart was racing for multiple reasons, not even counting the epinephrine. So luckily, since it went straight through, most of the epinephrine oozed out the needle and out onto my hand. My heart was racing significantly regardless because, needle through the thumb, but I always suspected a bit got into my open wound. Considering I was a less than 100-pound 10-year-old and the pen was meant for a 200-pound man, I'm very, very grateful I didn't get the full injection. You probably would have been okay. Pens only come in junior and regular, with junior meaning smaller than 66 pounds. But still, you were pretty lucky. Edit, disclaimer, I am only saying that the dose is the same, not that injecting yourself with an EpiPen is safe. If you inject yourself with an EpiPen, please see a doctor. Riding my bike home in 5th grade slowly alongside my walking friends. Friend, Drew, look where you're going. Drew, nah dude, I'm good at biking, I can do it with my eyes closed. Friend, no really dude, look out. Drew, nah man, I'm good. Instantly crashes into a parked car, mess up my bike chain, have to drag my bike home in shame and explain to my mom why my knee and lip are bleeding. I've done something very similar before, and I've also been named Drew before, so I'm relatively certain you're me. Fun. Aren't we stupid? Hello gentlemen, just wanted to check in. How are you guys doing? Stabbed myself in the leg with a piece of metal. It was really thin and tapered at the tip, so when you swung it you would hear this really cool whoosh sound. I swung down way too hard and it went right into my shin. Bad times. I did this, but I swung up instead. Frown, ripped my forehead. Walked onto a manhole cover that was not placed on correctly. Ended up in the hospital and had to have 3 surgeries over 4 months. Tragedy is when I cut my finger. Comedy is when you fall into an open sewer and die. Mel Brooks. If presidents can't do it to their wives, they'll do to their country. Mel Brooks. Rode a bike with no shoes and no brakes. Stopping with my foot out of habit and skinned the entire top of my foot. Edit, thank you everyone for sharing your stories. I've never had a comment this popular. Rip my inbox. Edit too, since people are confused as to how I skinned the top of my foot. It stopped my bike with the ball of my right foot. Usually my shoes provided traction and slowed me down. Since I was going so fast and didn't have shoes when I put my foot down, the speed made my foot bend forward, top down. Hope that helps.